Aloha and welcome to video number 2 and how to stop sugar cravings and why you must. Okay, my name is Susan Teton, as you probably already know, so let's get started in the kitchen. All right, I know I'm still outdoors though, here on the deck here on Maui, and so we'll probably hear some birds and some cars and some dogs. But we're going to show you some really good pictures of some food and gives you some great ideas. Okay, so I'm going to draw on my friend Carol again because we sat down and really had a long talk about what really worked for her. And I interviewed a couple other people too, and of course I've had my own journey with sugar. So let's get started. The number one thing I want to tell you that is really vital to do is to take a look at fats too, because putting good fats into your diet will really help you get off of sugar. It's one of the key things. Primary thing. So let's take a look at what are good fats. All right, first we have coconut oil. Everybody knows coconut oil is really, really good for us. And now we have some wonderful coconut oils that can be cooked with as well. And here's a picture of that from Barlean's. They make this amazing culinary oil, which I just love because they also have a butter flavored one. So it's excellent to cook with, whereas you don't want to cook with your full-on coconut oil. You don't want to bring it to a high heat. So we have coconut oil first. The next one is ghee. Ghee is a really powerful fat used. It's clarified butter, and if you're not a vegan, then you're going to love ghee. And some people that are vegans also, or vegetarians, they'll put ghee into their life because it seems to be such a healing food. And my friend Carol, it was one of her big success foods, particularly on her vegetables. So she would steam her vegetables and then put ghee on top of it. Now, the same thing goes with olive oil. Olive oil is a great fat, and many of us already know this. So how are you going to use it? How about on your vegetables? You cook your vegetables. How about a potato, a yam, a sweet potato, or even a white potato, your red rose potatoes? Love steaming those and pouring a delicious olive oil on top with maybe some chopped parsley or some cilantro or any other kind of herb, some good salt and pepper. Yum. It's you want to eat more good fats, and in my olive oil series, and I'll tell you, I really think my career got started on using fats and oils on top of food. And the same goes with flax oil. Okay, flax oil is a great flax oil, particularly if you use Barlean's. I love Barlean's flax oil, and I'll tell you why. It tastes the best. It absolutely tastes the best. Their high lignin flax oil is delicious, and when you cook your vegetables and use the flax oil on top, you just make a yummy sauce, particularly if you mix it with some seeds or some other toppings like tamari or Bragg's, or just a really good Celtic sea salt, another one of my favorites. So we have flax oil, we have ghee, olive oil, and coconut oil. So another good fat is nut butters. So you have almond butter, and nowadays, oh my gosh, they make the best nut butters. You've got cashew butter, almond butter, walnut butter, and you have sesame tahini, pumpkin seed butter. Oh my gosh, these are just delicious. And don't worry about them being like they're going to be too fattening for you. If you're getting sugar out of your life, then you want to put all these good fats in. And there's wonderful ways to make these or use them that is just right out of the jar, really, really simple. Okay? We're going to go over some ideas on those in a moment. Another good fat, if you are aligned with eating cheese, many diets say, oh my gosh, cheese is really bad, but I'll tell you, a little bit of really good raw milk, organic, grass-fed cheese is going to be a whole lot better for you than sugar. All right, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a huge dairy eater, but I definitely enjoy good cheeses. And this is what worked for my friend Carol. Putting these good fats into her diet was key, and particularly with cheese, because the cheese satiated her. Many of your sweet drinks, many of your sweet desserts, whether it's ice creams, cakes, or whatever, they're also a lot of fat as well. Nobody's just going around eating, big spoonfuls of honey or sugar. It's usually with a fat. So you want to put really good fats into your diet. So cheese is another good fat. So we've got our good oils, then we have nut butters and cheese. These are just ideas. There's probably more, but this is a really great way to start. Okay, the next thing is sugar substitutes. Now, a lot of people use stevia. There's different kinds of stevia, and stevia goes really well with particular foods, and some it doesn't go so well with. But now they also have a powdered stevia, which is great for baking. We also have like xylitol, which is an excellent sugar substitute for baking. It doesn't spike the blood sugar. It has a really pretty good flavor, and it's people are very, very successful with making sugar-free desserts out of xylitol. And let's see, we have the other one is like rice syrup. This was my friend Carol. She used a lot of rice syrup and found great success with that. It doesn't spike the blood sugar in the same way like refined fructose and sugar. And so even though it does have a lot of carbs and it has a sugar content, it's much slower how it metabolizes in the body. So we have rice syrup. We have now coconut syrup. Oh my gosh, I love this coconut syrup. And the chocolate truffles that I made, I usually make them with maple syrup, which is also an excellent source of sugar, but you can't have very much of it. Same with honey, excellent source of sugar, but smaller amounts while you're getting off sugar. So we have the sugar substitutes, and then we have whole fruits. Now, let me tell you what my friend Carol recommended. She recommended that you don't do any fruits in the first week or two. I personally find that kind of hard, but it's a really good practice if you can go through a detox phase of at least a week or two with no sugar whatsoever, and that's no fruit. This will serve you in the long run. However, what I like to do is, when I'm going off sugar, is I make sure I eat a really good breakfast, a really good whole fat, lots of fat in my breakfast, and no fruit, no berries, no oatmeal, nothing like that. And then around mid-morning, I'm really kind of wanting some sugar, or maybe in the afternoon. So a half an apple or a bowl of berries. Whole fruits like this that are low in glycemic index, not like bananas, they're really high. So you want like apples, berries, these kind of things will really serve you. And if you have them with a nut butter, isn't that a great idea? So let's look at some ideas. Okay, so we have an apple with nut butter, almond butter, whatever butter you choose. Okay, this is going to give you a good fat and a little bit of sugar, and it's going to fill you up and satisfy you. So we have nut butters and an apple. We also have things like cheese and olives. Or how about cheese and an apple too? That's a great thing, and particularly with walnuts. You can put some walnuts with that, walnuts and cheese, fantastic. It definitely will serve you. I'm going to call it a food that works. Once you eat it, you're satisfied. Okay, so these are the kind of things that you want to prepare ahead of time. We also made these sugar-free brownies, and they're quite yummy. And this particular recipe does have eggs in it. It has almond flour, and it has some coconut flour. And what I used for the sugar content for this particular recipe was powdered stevia. And they turned out fantastic. And it's dark chocolate, and I put lots of walnuts in it. So this is a very high-fat brownie because it does have eggs, it has the almond meal, and it has the walnuts, and there is really no sugar at all. Absolutely none, because the stevia doesn't have any sugar at all. And what you can do to give these recipes sometimes a little more flavor is add a little bit of the rice syrup or a little bit of the coconut syrup, because it has a different flavor. So let's say you're using stevia, which may be a flavor that you're not crazy about, but it gives an element of sweetness. And then you use just a tablespoon or two of the coconut syrup, which adds another dimension of flavor. Now, in these chocolate truffles, what I used in these was really just 4 ingredients, and one of them is coconut cream concentrate, which I'm going to talk about next. I used a little bit of water, cacao powder, which was 100% dark chocolate cacao powder, and the coconut syrup, and a little bit of Celtic sea salt. And oh my gosh, these are the most delicious truffles. So try those as well. And you can make them ahead of time, put them in your freezer. They're a great afternoon snack. Now let's talk about the coconut butter. I should have put those back into the good fats, but this is a food all its own. There are a few different manufacturers, and this particular one is Artesana, and it's a delicious coconut butter. And you know what it is? It's just ground coconut meat. And the reason that I showed it in this picture with a spoon on it, with a spoon of it, is that's how good it is. A spoonful of this and you will be a happy camper, I promise you. It's so sweet, it's so rich, that whenever I give it to anybody, they go, oh my God, that is so good. Get a jar of this. Also, you can just mix it with some water and you make a little bit of like a sauce, and you can pour it over your berries. Really good. Smoothies are a great way to make a good drink that's quite satisfying. And if you put nuts in it too, it'll have a lot of good fat, but you can use berries, raspberries, blueberries, maybe a really good protein powder, or some flax oil or some coconut oil, and make yourself some yummy smoothies. That's another really great thing to do. And also, oh, I thought I had it with me, but I also had a glass of kombucha. And there's some wonderful drinks out there too that, well, that don't have a lot of sugar in them, but be careful. You must start reading labels, and because there are some things that will just fool you, and you'll look it up and it might even say natural or healthy or sugar-free, but it's got high fructose corn syrup in it. Or even chips and different foods like that will have a lot of hidden fructose, corn syrup, or added sugars. Even some chips do. Okay, so let's just look at plain food as much as you possibly can. Okay, so this is giving you lots of ideas and different foods that you can start to make. I do have these recipes available for you on my blog, and so you can start to get prepared. This is a big part of your preparation. Get some sugar-free recipes. Go out and purchase some of these sugar substitutes, and start to see where they taste good and where they don't taste so good. Let's say you love your coffee really, really sweet. Well, I found that, and I kind of like my coffee and tea a little bit sweet too. I like a little honey, but the rice syrup is great. It really worked well. Stevia works great with citrus. If you want to make a beverage like a lemonade, stevia, I find, works really well with citrus. The thing with stevia, and a lot of people don't like, is they use too much of it. You can't use too much, and it's definitely an acquired taste. After a couple of weeks, you really get used to it. And you know that you're changing your taste buds here, and so there's going to be a transition, and this is all part of being prepared. Another thing that you really want to put into your life that will support you so well in so many areas is cultured vegetables. I had a client once come up to me and say, "What did you do to my life?" She says, "All I did was start putting 2 teaspoons, like you suggested, into my diet every morning upon rising. 2 teaspoons of cultured vegetables. No more sugar cravings," she said, "and my skin has cleared up." So these are so powerful for you, and so important that you fill your ecosystem, your microbiome, your gut, with friendly flora and good bacteria from cultured vegetables. So much more powerful than a pill. Okay, so I want you to go either make them or go buy some and eat them in the morning, and have a tablespoon with every single one of your meals. You know, use it like a condiment. This will help you so much in your digestion, and this will help you stop your sugar cravings. So I hope this really helps you and gives you lots of great ideas and some yummy new foods to make. So that's it for video number 2, and we'll see you in the next video, number 3. Aloha.